sex can be better after we have our babies. And that's what I want to offer you, an opportunity to explore the possibility that sex could be so much better after you have your baby. It's just totally like bonkers. It sounds bonkers. The truth is that birth is a really intimate experience, that gives you and your partner an opportunity to experience going through this journey where your love is manifesting in physical form and you're creating this new human. And that kind of experience, often when it's in this container of a lot of love and connection, and when your intimacy is tended to, can really be supportive to your intimacy. So that's like one thing I wanted to share. The other thing is that, after you have a baby, you're kind of given this opportunity to completely reset. So instead of like kind of having sex or sharing intimacy in whatever patterns that you normally have, like position, warm up, like all the things that we normally do, after you have your baby, it's kind of like a bomb goes off on all of that. And you could either just let that like be a distraction and struggle with it, or we can choose to deliberately reapproach the way we engage with intimacy and sex and our relationship to our bodies, recognizing that everything that we do in that realm moving forward, even if the intricacies of your sexual relationship aren't seen by your child will learn about healthy relationships. They'll learn about self-love and self-connection through you and your partner's intimacy, the way you handle conflict and the way you relate to yourselves and each other. So this is a really beautiful opportunity for you to kind of like re-engage your intimacy and connection with your partner in a completely new way. And you can make it so much better than it ever was before. And I'll explain how that works. First, after a baby comes through your pelvic floor, sometimes what can happen, since a lot of us don't really have a lot of connection to our pelvic floor, I realized my whole life I've never paid any attention to my pelvic floor. Through that experience of having a baby pass through my pelvic floor, doing some inner work, like internal massage and pelvic floor PT, I just developed more neurological connections to my pelvic floor that increased my own personal awareness of my pelvic floor, and that increased my pleasure later with penetration. And I found that after doing pelvic floor PT, even after the tear, sex was better. I experienced more pleasure with penetration than I had before. The clitoris, like stretches, those branches of the clitoris stretch out. And so if you are a person who like maybe doesn't enjoy vaginal penetration as much as clitoral stimulation, or maybe you don't have orgasms from vaginal penetration, sometimes after having a baby, through a little bit of anatomical shifting that happens, or through just more awareness to the pelvic floor, we can sometimes experience more internal pleasure. A lot of people, their sexual experience and pleasure is limited because in our culture, there isn't a lot of support around self-pleasure, around exploring your own body, being free to explore and express your own authentic sexuality. There's a lot of messages that tell us that like, this is okay to have, you can have sex this way, but not that way, through like media or religion or whatever it is. Growing up in school, I just learned not to have sex. And so I didn't I'm pretty sure all of us just didn't really get any actual sexual education. So you just kind of figure it out on your own. And then all of a sudden you have a baby, and the baby offers this really potent opportunity to drop a bomb on everything, and to give you an opportunity to take a step back and re-engage sex with as much deliberateness and awareness as possible, recognizing that you are so deserving of the most pleasure a person can possibly experience, and that pleasure is your birthright. We're designed for pleasure as women. And so if you can have this perspective of I could have even more pleasure than I've ever experienced before, and let's re-engage from that place, I think it can be really fun to give yourself that permission, and it can offer an opportunity to just strike out those limiting beliefs that some of us just carry the rest of our lives, because we're never given an opportunity to really take a big step back and reassess everything, the patterns and the way we typically do things, our beliefs about sex, our beliefs about our own bodies, the permission we give ourselves to go deeper into intimacy and go deeper into pleasure. Your intimacy and your pleasure does not have a limit. There's no limit to the amount of pleasure you can experience, and it's not linear. It's not like you have the best sex in your 20s and then whatever, and it just gets worse. And the truth is that you could have better sex in your 80s than you have now. What allows for better sex or more pleasure is simply your permission inside of yourself emotionally to give yourself over to your own pleasure, your permission to release limiting beliefs that may be holding you back from experiencing more pleasure. The more freedom we give ourselves and the more we love ourselves, the better our pleasure and the better our intimacy is.